This video is part one of two parts about the Open Purchase Orders tab on Connect to Build. It is titled Locating Purchase Orders and Variance Purchase Orders. You will come to the Open Purchase Order list after logging into Connect to Build and possibly encountering two separate prompts that are represented as pop-up windows. And to get to this list, you will have to click past those two prompts. I've not shown you those two prompts. I will quickly describe each one of those. The first represents any updated purchase orders that have been issued or modified since the last time you logged in. Sometimes that list is overwhelming, and most folks will click past that first prompt and move on and get to the open purchase order list that's shown here. The second prompt represents information that sometimes Fisher Homes will send out to all our suppliers and trade partners. And I've clicked past that as well. And I've arrived here at this list of purchase orders. What you will see on this list of purchase orders is probably enough information and enough tools to locate the specific purchase order that you're interested in at the time. As you notice, the first thing you'll see is these columns headed across here. Kind of highlight them with the cursor, and you'll see the purchase order number. That is the Fisher assigned and issued purchase order number. You'll see the job number column, the activity number and its description, release date, and the total amount for the purchase order. When you first log in, the purchase orders are typically sorted by the release date, with the most recently released purchase orders being at the top of the list. Keep in mind that those recently released purchase orders are not necessarily going to be done right away. These purchase orders are typically issued at the beginning, at the very start, and sometimes prior to the start of the construction of the home. Therefore, depending on the status and the progress of where the home is, sometimes these are issued well in advance of when you will be showing up at the job site. Variance purchase orders are typically represented by starting the number 9. Stated differently, they start with the number 9, and oftentimes those purchase orders may even be issued after you've done the work. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're issued in advance of you doing the work. So sometimes those will require a little bit more immediate attention. Alright, now what I want to show you is how to navigate around the list and to locate the purchase orders that you may be interested in. First thing is on the mouse, I can navigate through the list by just moving. I have a wheel on my mouse. I can just scroll up and down the list by turning the wheel. I have to click inside here first, and then I'm going to start turning the wheel, and you can see that I am scrolling down the list. That's one method. The other method is that you'll notice over here on the right side there is a scroll bar, and if you click on the darkened area here, click on it with your left mouse button for most folks, click it and hold it down, and then you can just drag it down and once again scroll up and down the list. That's one method that you can use to locate a purchase order. Now in the case that I see here, then you see as well, there are so many purchase orders it would be probably quite difficult to find the purchase order unless you knew it was released in the last couple of days and it was at the top of the list. The other way that you can navigate and find the purchase order is there are if you hover over the purchase order list column heading, you will notice there's a little pop-up window there. It says click to sort. A lot of these columns you can do that and resort the entire list alphanumerically by clicking on the column heading. However, these two columns, this column alone, you cannot sort by invoice. You can do it by vendor status, and the vendor status will be described in the second part of the open purchase order list. But in this particular case, typically for me, I would probably be searching by a job number. I would know the job number and my activity that I would be looking for. Let's say I want to sort this list by clicking on the job number heading. Click it once, it will sort the entire list alphanumerically by the job number heading. And then what I will do is I will scroll up and down to locate the particular job and or PO or POs that I'm interested in. Let's say I'm looking for something in the COM community. And here they are. I believe there's 3 in here. Yes, there are 3. And I found them simply by scrolling down the list. A second way that you can locate the purchase order, you can click and type in information in these white boxes up here. Let's say I knew the purchase order number was 331750. I could simply type in 331750, knowing the purchase order number, and hit the enter key in the box labeled PO. Hit enter, and what it will do is it will highlight the purchase order and or purchase orders that match this number in the list. Now sometimes those purchase orders may not be at the top of the list. You would have to scroll down. In this case, it did locate it near the top of the list, and it is highlighted in yellow. And what it shows me down here is it shows me that the number, what I'm searching for, and how many it's selected and found in the list. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to clear that. I'm going to do a search by job number this time. Let's say I'm looking for those same purchase orders in the COM community. So I will go up here to the job, the box, the white box next to job number, and type in COM and hit enter. It's going to re-search through the list again. And once it comes back and shows me, it's going to highlight everything that I found, that it found with the letter COM and the job number. And as it turns out, these wound up at the top of the list. And again, this is what I searched for. I found 3. I'm going to clear the search. I'm going to look for something a little bit different this time. I'm going to look for something in the ATR community to illustrate that they don't always wind up highlighted at the top of the list. I'll type in ATR, hit enter, and this should bring up the list, and it should illustrate the fact that the purchase orders in this case are not highlighted right here on your screen. You will have to scroll down to locate the highlighted purchase orders, and there they are. Almost scrolled past them, but this illustrates that you have to scroll to find the highlighted ones. And there actually may be even more. Yes, there's 4 of them here, but if I look down here, I notice there are actually a total of 10, so I know I've got more even further down on the list that it found. Just going to continue scrolling. There was 1. It's easy to miss them when you have such a large list. And that concludes part 1 about how to find the purchase orders you're interested in. And part 2 of this video about open purchase orders will show you how to bring up the detailed information, print, and do a number of other things on this open purchase order tab. If any time that you are in a different tab, say you wind up in one of these other tabs, you can simply return to the open tab by clicking the open word down here in the bottom left.